Welcome. Wherever you are tonight, whatever kind of day you've had, this is a quiet place, a space where stories calm the heart and bring rest to the soul. Tonight's journey is one of storms and surrender, of running and return. It's a story about a man named Jonah, and how even in the depths of the sea, mercy can still reach you. Jonah's story isn't just about a great fish. It's about a great God, one who pursues, who corrects, and who restores. And perhaps, as we listen, we'll discover echoes of our own hearts, in the running, and in the returning. So take a deep breath. Let go of the weight of today. And drift gently now into the story of Jonah and the great fish. The word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai. It came not with thunder or fear, but with clarity. Go to the great city of Nineveh, the Lord said, and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me. Nineveh? A powerful city, a place far to the east, known for violence and idolatry. It was the capital of Assyria, a bitter enemy of Jonah's people. To preach repentance to such a city? It was unthinkable. Jonah didn't argue. He didn't question. But he made a choice. He turned his feet in the opposite direction. Instead of heading east toward Nineveh, Jonah went down to the port city of Joppa. There, a ship was preparing to sail for Tarshish, a place as far west as he could possibly go. And Jonah bought a ticket. He climbed aboard. He went down into the belly of the ship and laid low. Not because he was tired, but because he was running. Running not just from a city. Not just from a calling. Running from God. And it's here the story begins to stir. Because the moment Jonah set out to flee, the winds began to rise. Out at sea, the skies darkened. Waves began to roll. Wind howled across the deck. The ship rocked violently. The sailors, seasoned, hardened men, grew afraid. They cried out to their gods. They threw cargo overboard, hoping to lighten the load. Still the storm raged. Jonah? He slept. Down in the depths of the ship. As if closing his eyes could close him off from the voice he'd left behind. The captain found him. Shouted over the storm. How can you sleep? Get up and call on your God. Maybe he will take notice of us so that we will not perish. But Jonah knew. He didn't need to call. He already knew the source of the storm. Desperate to know who had brought this upon them, the sailors cast lots, a method of drawing straws, of seeking signs. And the lot fell on Jonah. They surrounded him. Who are you? What do you do? Where are you from? Jonah stood, rain whipping his face. His voice steady. I am a Hebrew, and I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land. The sailors stepped back in fear. What have you done? They asked, for they knew he was fleeing from the presence of the Lord. And the sea grew wilder still. The waves crashed louder. The wind shrieked around the ship's masts. The sailors clung to anything they could find, their eyes darting toward Jonah, waiting for his answer, for a solution. And Jonah, standing firm on the rocking deck, spoke with clarity. Pick me up and throw me into the sea, he said. Then the sea will become calm. I know that it is because of me that this great storm has come upon you. The sailors recoiled. They didn't want to be responsible for the death of an innocent man. So instead, they rowed harder, trying to bring the ship back to land. But the waves only grew stronger, the storm more violent, as if the sea itself refused their effort. Realizing they had no other choice, they cried out, not to their own gods, but to the God Jonah served. O Lord, they prayed, please do not let us perish for this man's life. Do not hold us guilty for killing an innocent man. For you, O Lord, have done as you pleased. And with sorrow in their hands, they lifted Jonah and hurled him into the sea. Instantly, the wind stilled. The sea grew quiet. The ship steadied. A great calm settled over the waters. And the sailors, now trembling with awe, offered a sacrifice to the Lord. They made vows, not just out of fear, but from reverence. They had seen his power, and they believed. Jonah, meanwhile, sank beneath the waves, down through the cold, dark water. The light faded above him. Weeds wrapped around his head. He sank to the roots of the mountains, to the very edge of life. But God had not abandoned him. The Lord, full of mercy even in the middle of rebellion, had prepared something Jonah never expected. A great fish. Not to punish, but to preserve. And the fish swallowed Jonah whole. Inside the belly of the deep, Jonah lay, not dead, but not quite alive. Enveloped in stillness. Alone with his thoughts. Surrounded by the mystery of God's grace. 3 days. 3 nights. Suspended between failure and forgiveness. And there, from the dark, Jonah prayed. Inside the darkness of the fish, time moved differently. There was no sun to mark the day, no moon to measure the night. Just the sound of Jonah's own breath, the churning of the sea around him, and the weight of stillness pressing in. And then, from the depths, came words. Not loud. Not desperate. But honest. Jonah prayed to the Lord his God from inside the fish. In my distress, I called to the Lord, and he answered me. From deep in the realm of the dead I called for help, and you listened to my cry. The words poured out, not rehearsed but real. You hurled me into the depths, into the heart of the seas, and the currents swirled about me. All your waves and breakers swept over me. I said, I have been banished from your sight, yet I will look again toward your holy temple. The engulfing waters threatened me, the deep surrounded me, seaweed was wrapped around my head. To the roots of the mountains I sank down, the earth beneath barred me in forever. But you, Lord my God, brought my life up from the pit. He paused. In the silence, the truth came clearer than ever. When my life was ebbing away, I remembered you, Lord, and my prayer rose to you, to your holy temple. Those who cling to worthless idols forfeit the grace that could be theirs. But I, with shouts of grateful praise, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed I will make good. Salvation comes from the Lord. There was no plea to be rescued. No demand for relief. Just surrender. And grace met him there. The Lord commanded the fish. And after 3 long days and 3 quiet nights, it rose through the waters, to the surface, to the light. And it vomited Jonah onto dry land. He lay there, soaked and trembling, but alive. Not because he was strong. Not because he had figured things out. But because mercy had met him even in the deep. He breathed the air again. Felt the sun. Stood to his feet. And then the voice came again. Just as it had before. But this time, Jonah listened. Go to the great city of Nineveh and proclaim to it the message I give you. And so, with heart humbled and steps slower, Jonah went. He did not run this time. Not away. But toward. Toward obedience. Toward purpose. Toward the people he once refused to face. Jonah entered the gates of Nineveh slowly. The city was vast, a great city indeed, taking 3 days to walk from end to end. The streets bustled with merchants and children, soldiers and elders. It was loud, alive, and completely unaware of what was coming. Jonah's heart still wrestled with discomfort. He had feared this place, resented it even. And yet now, with the weight of the sea behind him, he could no longer ignore the command. He walked a day's journey into the city and then raised his voice. 40 more days, he called out, and Nineveh will be overthrown. The words were simple. He didn't argue. He didn't elaborate. Just the message God had given him, spoken aloud to anyone who would hear. And to Jonah's surprise, they listened. The people of Nineveh believed God. From the richest to the poorest, from the shopkeepers to the scholars, a great wave of repentance swept through the city. They began to fast, removing their robes, dressing instead in sackcloth, a symbol of humility and mourning. Word reached the king. He too rose from his throne, removed his royal robes, and covered himself in sackcloth. Then he sat in the dust, a king, low and broken before a higher throne. He issued a proclamation throughout Nineveh. Let no one, not even the animals, eat or drink. Let everyone call urgently on God. Let them give up their evil ways and their violence. Who knows? God may yet relent and with compassion turn from his fierce anger, so that we will not perish. The city grew quiet. Mourning replaced the usual noise. Prayers rose from every corner. And in heaven, mercy stirred. God saw what they did, how they turned from their wicked ways, and he relented. He did not bring upon them the destruction that had been warned. And Jonah was not pleased. He had obeyed, yes. But he had hope for judgment. He had wanted to see fire fall, walls collapse, justice delivered to the city that had caused so much pain. Instead, he saw compassion. And it made him angry. He turned to God and said, "Isn't this what I said when I was still at home? That's why I tried to flee to Tarshish. I knew that you are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger and abounding in love, a God who relents from sending calamity. Now, Lord, take away my life, for it is better for me to die than to live." But the Lord replied gently, "Is it right for you to be angry?" Jonah didn't answer. He walked out of the city and made himself a small shelter. There he sat, waiting to see what would happen, still hoping, perhaps, that judgment might yet come. And in that quiet place, God came near again. He caused a leafy plant to grow over Jonah's shelter, giving him shade and easing his discomfort. Jonah was pleased. But by dawn the next day, God sent a worm to chew the plant, and it withered. Then came the scorching east wind. The sun blazed down. Jonah grew faint, and once more he wished to die. "It would be better for me to die than to live," he said. And God asked him again, "Is it right for you to be angry about the plant?" Jonah replied, "It is. And I'm so angry I wish I were dead." But the Lord spoke one final time, and his voice was full of compassion. "You have been concerned about this plant, though you did not tend it or make it grow. It sprang up overnight and died overnight. And should I not be concerned for the great city of Nineveh, in which there are more than 120,000 people who cannot tell their right hand from their left, and also many animals?" There the story ends. Not with Jonah's answer, but with God's heart. A heart that longs to save. That reaches even those who run. That speaks through storms, through fish, through prophets, and through mercy. And perhaps that's the truest miracle in Jonah's journey. Not just that he was swallowed and lived, but that he was pursued by a God who never gave up on him, or on Nineveh. So we close the story of Jonah, a story not just of rebellion, but of redemption. It began with a man running. But it ends with a God waiting. Waiting not with punishment, but with compassion. Jonah ran from mercy. But mercy ran after him. He sank to the depths, yet was not abandoned. He sat in frustration, yet was still taught gently. And through it all, God was not impatient, not harsh, not absent, but always near. Perhaps that is the heart of the story. That God doesn't give up on us, even when we try to give up on him. That he speaks not just through thunder and waves, but through quiet questions. Is it right to be angry? Should I not care? Will you trust me? Tonight, may you find comfort in this. That the same God who met Jonah in the sea, who softened the hearts of a violent city, who brought light to a prophet's dark places, still moves, still calls, still cares, even now. You don't have to have the answers. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to stop running and let him meet you right where you are. So rest now. Let your breathing slow. Let the waters calm. Let the question settle for the night. Because even if you've run far, even if you feel too lost. Even if you don't know how to turn back. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. And mercy is never far behind. Until next time, sleep deeply, sleep peacefully, and sleep knowing this. You are held. You are loved. And you are not too far gone to be found. Good night.